Hello, lovelies. Welcome to this episode of Lessons from the Universe with Jennifer Hall. I look forward to sharing my channeled message with you today, and if you love it, please remember to like, share, review, and subscribe. Just do it. Take action. Begin. Just start. Start to think about it, roll it around in your head, ask questions, Google things that are similar. Just do it. Why do we hold ourselves back? What's the thing that makes us afraid to succeed or afraid to fail? Maybe it's worthiness. Maybe it's something else. We just have to begin. Everybody that ever did anything finally started. A great example, the producer of this show, the one who does my editing and posts everything for me, her name is Michelle McLeod. She wrote a book. It's actually out for pre-sale right now. And shameless plug. The name of the book is A Girl Called Bitch. And it's all about her journey to forgiving her family, her experiences, these things. Now, it appears that all of a sudden one day she had the idea to write a book and just did it. That is what happened. But this was years in the making. I mean, she had the idea in her head of, I could write a book about this. I should write a book about this. And then the day came that the moment felt right. And she didn't argue with herself. She didn't give herself false ideas of starting or not being good enough or not whatever. She just started writing. She started writing, and now she has a book that you can find on Amazon, right? She started. What about this podcast? It's almost 2 years old. What happened? I started. I had in my head for a long time that the next thing was coming for me, that it was going to be me being able to share my teachings to a bigger audience. I wasn't sure what it would be. When Michelle said, why don't you do a podcast? I didn't say no. I said yes. I ordered a microphone on Amazon and I was recording a couple days later. And here we are, almost 2-year anniversary of the show. Just do it. Just begin. If you have a store idea, think about it. Start looking up the things you want to sell. Start checking for that fantasy name that you want, or buy the domain. Those aren't that expensive. Google other similar things. Long before I knew how my being a spiritual teacher was going to manifest, long before I knew how it would look, I would periodically go places where there were other people who claimed to do similar things, or Google other people who claim to do similar things. I would notice less of what I did like and more of what I didn't. But when it came time, when the universe said, it's time, I had this wealth of information and I just did it. I can hear people thinking it's easier said than done. It's really not. It's really not. You just have to know that the timing is right. When you feel that pull inside of you, the thing that is keeping you from enjoying your TV show or keeping you up at night, just get up and take action. Google it, write down the idea, jot down the sketch, whatever it is. Start writing the book. Just begin. The only thing that keeps us from success is fear of beginning, is procrastination. But I don't think procrastination is all that simple. I think it's really layered. I think it really comes down to worthiness, comes down to this concept that we could waste time. What if we waste time? What if you write a book and no one else reads it? So what? It's the process. Was it healing for you to write that book? Did you enjoy it? Was it a story you wanted to tell? What if you put it out there and nobody looks at it for 20 years and then one person does and it changes their life? I think I've shared this story before, but When my podcast first started, I was sharing with one of my clients, a friend, that, I had high hopes for it, but I wasn't sure what you do with it. And she said, you're priming the pump. When you prime those old-fashioned water pumps, you pump and you pump for a really long time and nothing happens, and then suddenly it does. All you have to do is just keep going. Just begin and keep going. And then she shared with me the story of a man. I wish I knew his name because I'd love to plug him too. He apparently is the son of parents who own like a liquor store. And for many, many years, he was posting videos on YouTube about wine. For years and years and years, like 20 years, he had like 17 followers. And then one day, the right person found it and shared it, and boom, now he's like way famous, right? He wasn't doing it to be famous. He was doing it because it was his passion. He put himself out there, he primed the pump, and the next thing you know, it had a life of its own. The only expectation is that we do what we feel called to do, that we take action, that we take the next step, that we put it out there. Maybe it's something simpler. Maybe it's organizing your closet. I don't undervalue that. Take the first step. Just do it. Get off your butt and get started. You want to paint the living room? Go buy some paint. What's the worst case scenario? You make a fucking mess. Messes can be cleaned up. Maybe you hate the color. You do it again. Well, guess what? By the time you're done, your arms are going to look fabulous. Or maybe you don't like the color and everybody else loves it. I am not a fan of the color I painted my living room, but people tell me they love it. People tell me they love it even after I tell them I hate it. They've got like permission to not like it, and they still do. So there's that. No, I digress. It's silly. But, beloved, my point today is that you can always begin. There's always enough time. We have to quit putting limits on ourselves. I just spoke to someone earlier today. She has this fantasy. Well, it's not really a fantasy. It's quite tangible. Her mother left her and her siblings some property. They all want to build on that property and have this like commune kind of thing. They're all old enough and in the stage of life where this is truly, really possible. And she's got all of these false steps in the way. These things she thinks she has to do before she can achieve that. While perhaps she will take all those steps before she does, the idea that she has to is slowing her down. It's fogging up her clarity. The fact that she could do it today if she wanted. Maybe she doesn't want to. Maybe she's not ready. She doesn't need the excuse that X, Y, and Z have to be done first. It could just be that today's not the day I do it. Or maybe she just needs to quit her job, sell all of her shit, and go. I laugh, but I'm not kidding. I've had a few clients do that over the years. One, man, it's been a while ago now. She quit her job, sold all her stuff, and started traveling. She knew it wasn't sustainable because she's older, but not that old. And she just trusted the universe. She had her what if, her worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, I come back, I temporarily live with this friend while I get a job, and it's all good, right? She had a backup plan. But as this unfolded, as she trusted it, she found her way to house sitting for someone for like a month in someplace in Egypt, which then led her to one of their friends. And now she travels to the most unbelievable places in the world and gets to stay in the most unbelievable homes in the world, sometimes for a month or 6 weeks while people are off traveling. What an incredible manifestation of her fantasy to travel the world. Pretty cool. I'm not saying we all have to do that, But if that's who you are, if that's what feels like your destiny, make it happen. If you're not in that phase of life yet, maybe you're too young, maybe you have little kids, maybe whatever, right? Start working towards it. Take the first step. What does it look like? I can hear the clackety clack of like 10 people right now Googling, like, how do I get to house sit in other countries? Check it out. Maybe you're thinking, how do I publish a book on Amazon like Michelle did? Google it. We have the world of information in front of us. Take the first step. Maybe it's recovery. Maybe you need to take the first step to get sober or mentally sound. Maybe it's love. Maybe you need to take the first step to meet somebody. Get the hell out of your house. Go somewhere, anywhere. Guys, the world hasn't changed that much. You can still meet somebody sitting at lunch. You can still meet somebody taking an art class or something. This is still a thing. You just have to get in the world. Maybe you need to lose weight or get fit. I happen to love the show Biggest Loser. Have you guys ever watched this show? It's been around for years. And I know there's a lot of argument about it. Some people believe that it's very unhealthy what they're doing, and a huge percentage of them gain their weight back and all of this. But you put that aside and you appreciate TV for what it is, and it's really inspiring. They just started a new season, and I saw it last night. I love to watch these people take the first step. It was the first episode, so we got to hear a lot of their stories of how they got to the state that they're in and how many times they avoided the first step and what it was that got them to take it this time. And it makes me proud. It makes me inspired. Because all over the world in this very instance, there's people taking the first step who are just saying, fuck it, I'm in. I'm in. Let's do this. And then we trust the unfolding. It's going to ebb and flow. There's going to be peaks of activity and then moments that we have to rest and wait and be patient and see what's coming. That's part of the process, lovelies. We just need to begin. Even if all that is saying, yes, I'm worthy. Yes, I will write that book one day. And we get the spiral and we write the title on that spiral and we put it on our desk and maybe we look at that thing and we smile at it for 5 years. And then one day we sit down and the whole book falls out of us. Ink on paper. You never know. You never know unless you start. You never know unless you say, that feeling I have that there's something more special inside of me is the call of the universe. I remember saying, universe, I don't know what it is you want me to do. I don't know who it is I am supposed to be for you and in this place. But I am willing, and I'm ready. And the further I go, the further I walk, the more I awaken, the more I realize that it began way before I knew it began. Because I just started. I read the book or took the class or said the prayer or whatever it was. If you give yourself a break, maybe you'll realize that you already started too. And if you look back and you know you haven't, then let's do it today. It doesn't have to be all at once. People tell me all the time, I don't have an hour to work out. Okay, so don't work out for an hour. Jump up and down for 2 minutes. Something. The little things add up, I promise you. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. Take action. Just do it. Set a timer for 5 minutes and write for 5 minutes, right? You want to invent something? Spend 5 minutes Googling to see if anything like that already exists. You want to make new friends? Decide where you're going tomorrow. Put it on your calendar in ink. Just begin. I promise you, even if you don't get what you want, you're going to get what you need. I sound like 70s rock, but it's true. There were a lot of things I did along the way where I didn't get what I thought I was looking for. What I got was what I needed, and in retrospect, it's so much better. Thank you, universe. Highest good, highest good, highest good. Trust your gut, beloved. Take the first step. And if you're bold enough, if you're brave enough, share with me and everybody listening what that step was. Until next time, beloved, namaste.
Hi beauties, my name is Megan, and I couldn't pass up an opportunity to share who Jennifer Hall really is with all of you. Jennifer is a gifted woman who loves to share the tips and tricks of mastering lessons from the universe through real-life experiences. When I found Jennifer about 2 years ago, I did not know what to expect. My past conditioning had me fearing psychics and avoiding them, and that was something I overcame within my first conversation with Jennifer. She has no desire to control you or make decisions for you, but she will tell you what's best for your highest good, and it's up to you to do the work or not. It's very common for people to seek out a psychic to read the future, and sure, it's human nature to want to know what we don't know, to find the certainty in life. But what you actually get through Jennifer is so much deeper than knowing with certainty. It's really about how to grow through the uncertainty and embrace the power each of us hold deep within our own sovereignty and untapped gifts. Jennifer has helped me grow through many lessons in life. Relationship lessons with my husband of 15 years, my gifted and stubborn children, career lessons that involved overcoming complacency and dealing with difficult bosses, and of course, lessons for my spiritual growth and tapping into and embodying my own authenticity. Her podcast, Lessons from the Universe, is food for the soul. It is channeled wisdom, and it is personal wisdom that she picked up as she learned and grew into who she is today. Jennifer is well known and sought out. I have people from all over the world reaching out to me to provide a referral to her so that she can speak with them and they're able to meet her. This podcast makes it possible for people all over the world to receive her messages and receive the love that she pours into the collective. If you aren't a patron today, please consider becoming one and donating as much as $1 per month. If all of her beloved fans donated just $1, it would make an amazing impact on her offerings to the world. I meet with Jennifer monthly, and I'm also a patron because I believe so much in the lessons from the universe. And I have witnessed the beauty in learning and growing, the beauty in overcoming and smashing the many bubbles of conditioning that I succumbed to in my past. I have a new, more powerful story, and a big part of this story is embracing lessons from the universe. Your story will continue to change, and your donations will help many others change their stories across the globe, allowing the story of the collective to change for the best as well. If you love and live through the lessons from the universe as much as I do, like, share, and become a patron, and watch Lessons from the Universe take the rest of the world by surprise in the best ways possible. Sending light and love to all of you. Namaste.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Lessons from the Universe with Jennifer Hall. If you haven't already, I want to personally invite you to come out and find me on social media and at my webpage, psychicjenniferhall.com. If you are inspired by the podcast and want more content, consider clicking that patron button on Podbean, or you can support the show at paypal.me/Universal Lessons LLC, or by visiting our swag shop at spreadshirt.com. You can find the direct link on my Facebook page and my webpage. If you have questions, consider attending one of my quarterly seminars here in Dallas, or book your own educational session from anywhere in the world using the link that you can find on Facebook or on my webpage. I am sending each of you love, light, clarity, and wisdom. And I want you to know that whether you realize it or not, there's a little brunette with a podcast that's got your back.